I love shrimp egg rolls. And I wanted something a little different. So I had the shrimp, I had the egg roll fixings, but it takes quite a bit of time to put those egg rolls together. So why not serve them over rice noodles? That's what we're going to do today. Welcome. I am Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. You are invited to join our family. You know, our family loves to decorate, to cook, and to chat. And it's all those things that make our home a warm and happy place. The kitchen is the hub, the heart of the home. It is in our kitchens where we love, nurture, encourage, and guide our families over delicious meals or just across the counter. Your kitchen should be the place where everyone wants to come and have a seat and get a hug. So join me weekly in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme and see what we're up to. I'm adding onions and carrots to my skillet. And I have the skillet up on, I'm going to say about a medium high. And the reason for that is because I want the vegetables to remain a little crispy, but I don't want them to burn. You're also going to see that I have a pot going in the back behind the skillet, and that's for the rice noodles. So I'm going to let that water come up to a boil, and then I'll drop the rice noodles. The rice noodles don't take long at all to cook, so we're going to try to keep that to the very end. Now, so I'm just tossing things around. The cabbage, you're not going to want to add that cabbage until you're almost ready because cabbage has a tendency to change colors. And we don't want that. We don't want it to be wimpy, but we want the cabbage to be delicious, have just a tiny bit of, I won't say crunch, but we want it to hold a little bit its um, of its shape. So while I have both the onions and the carrots in, I'm going to start to add some of the liquids. So I'm adding in some tamari, which is gluten free, and I'm putting in about a quarter of a cup of the tamari. And after those rice noodles cook, I'm also going to add some of that rice water. But I took a microplane and grated some ginger. So I have about a tablespoon or so of ginger that I'm putting in, and it is so fragrant. Now I'm looking at this skillet and thinking, for the moment, this is just enough liquid. But I know I'm going to need more because we're going to need liquid for the noodles once we get ready to serve them. So I need some black pepper, and I'm adding in about a half teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to add in not a lot of salt at all. And I want a little bit of pepperoncino in there because we want our shrimp egg rolls to have flavor. Now, while I mention the fact that these are shrimp egg rolls, you can certainly change the protein. It doesn't, if you don't like shrimp, it doesn't have to be shrimp. You could have chicken, or you could make it vegetarian and just add, say, mushrooms or something like that. So I'm going to start now at this point to add in the cabbage. So I've gotten that cabbage ready and I'm going to put that in because I wanted to get the flavor of the tamari, and I'm adjusting the heat just a little bit because I want it to cook, but I don't want it to get mushy. So we're stirring and moving the vegetables around. Notice I have not put the shrimp in at all. And that's because they're going to cook, they're going to release their flavors as well, but not yet. So there's our vegetables and they are ready to go. So I'm going to just kind of take my shrimp and put them right in the center because they're raw They need to be cooked. And I'm looking at the number and I decided I'll go ahead and throw those last couple of shrimp in there. So we're going to put them in there. I'm adding a little bit more tamari. So you might say we had about a half cup of tamari in all. And that's going to give us all the salt flavor that we need without being too much. And it's going to give us kind of a deep flavor. I'm also adding in a teaspoon of sesame oil. Sesame oil. And we have to make sure that we don't add too much. So we've got a teaspoon of sesame oil that's in there, and I put those directly on the shrimp because the shrimp, as they cook, they're going to move around and they are going to flavor the vegetables that are in the skillet. So we're working on that. I've also added some minced garlic, and I placed them on the shrimp as well so that we can just toss everything together and it's going to come out just the way we want it. So that minced garlic is going and the ginger are just going to flavor this entire skillet. Notice everything is in this one skillet, and I'm just going to continue. I've cut the heat up just a little bit more so that those shrimp will get nice and pink and cooked. And in fact, if we can extend the cooking time just enough, they may even have a little bit of charring on each of the shrimp, because remember, we did not add any oil whatsoever. So we are ready to add those rice noodles. I have one package of rice noodles. I'm showing it to you. And I got these at Kroger's. Go in their Asian section. You'll see their rice noodles. Very easy. So I'm going to take those. I'm going to place them into one bag into the boiling liquid. I'm going to stir that around, and those rice noodles are going to come together in just a matter of minutes. So we need to give it a good stir, and you're just following the directions on the package. And see how they just kind of melt in the hot water. So we'll stir those about, and I want to make sure that they are not sticking together because you know rice is pretty starchy. But it took about 3 minutes for those rice noodles to be perfect. And you do not want those rice noodles to cook beyond that, because what's going to happen is that we're going to add our hot substance on top of these noodles. And you want the noodles to hold their integrity. You do not want rice mush. So be very careful when you're preparing your rice noodles. So those rice noodles are in the hot water, and our dish is nice and hot. You can see it's got nice and toasty. The shrimp is just about ready. You know, really when the shrimp is cooked, the dish is finished. So when the noodles finish, the egg roll mixture, the shrimp egg roll mixture is also going to be finished. So I'm just moving it around because I don't want anything other than the shrimp itself to cook at this point. Everything else is just staying hot, remaining hot, and I'm giving everything a chance to come together. And you know, you could have had chunks of chicken. We could have added even salmon. We could have added some type of fish that's hearty enough that it can hold together and not break up too much. So you'll see I'm taking some of that rice water and putting it right in our dish. I'm using that 1/4 measure. So I put in about a half cup of the rice noodle water, and I'm stirring those noodles around to make sure that they are cooked. I've got the timer on, so that way I'll know. There it is. I could have added the noodles to the mixture, but I didn't want it to cook any longer because the vegetables were perfect, the noodles were perfect. So this is what we did. I placed the noodles, a layer of noodles on the bottom of the bowl, and then put our egg roll mixture over it and just sprinkled it. If we wanted little thinly sliced spring onions, we could do that. And if not, we could grab our chopsticks and start eating. And that's exactly what we did. I took my sesame oil and just drizzled a tiny bit of sesame oil over the top of each of our bowls. And the fragrance of the sesame oil, along with the fragrance of everything in the egg roll mixture, made this a delicious one pot dish. So please try it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed being in the kitchen. Together we've chatted and accomplished so much. So if you like cooking and decorating and sharing and haven't joined the family, please do so by selecting the subscribe button and by tapping that little bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I upload. And also, please support the channel by giving me a thumbs up before you leave. I am so looking forward to seeing you right here at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where we work hard, we love God and family, and we know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. Have a wonderful and blessed day.